Commence primary ignition.
This is the way. I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold.
What is up, all of you Ugnaughts and Jawas out there, and welcome back to yet again another episode of Mando Talk. And as always, I am your host, Caleb Keller, and we've got a lot of Star Wars news to discuss. This is our Star Wars News of the Week show, where we give you the recent news in a galaxy far, far away. And joining me, as always, is DJ Foster at Rebel Scum Texan on Twitter. What's up, man?
Glad to be here, man. I did something I haven't done in a while over the weekend. I sat down and watched The Force Awakens.
Ooh.
And then the next day, I sat down and I watched The Last Jedi.
Ooh.
And I'm planning on watching Rise of Skywalker this week because I've been feeling like I've not had enough sequel related content in my life, and I don't know if it's Kathleen Kennedy or just something's buzzing in the air or what, but I just felt like, you know what? I need to sit down and watch TFA and TLJ.
TLJ.
Because if I didn't, and then a couple days from now, I'm going to watch Tros, so.
I love it. No, I mean.
I loved it when we were calling it Tros.
I enjoy watching the three of those back to back to back. It's a fun time. I get I get a lot of entertainment. from watching those three.
I'm highly entertained by it too. In fact,
that's
right now
what I was trying to say.
I got you. I got your back. I got your back. And right now my desktop background is an image of The Force Awakens. Like it's the poster without like the logo and everything on it. It's just all the characters. It's so pretty. It's just got all kinds of bright colors. And then I picked up a Star Wars logo for like a bookcase.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you can see it so well.
Yeah,
I got this at TJ, but it like pulses like color.
Oh, nice.
Nice. It kind of fades in and fades out. I don't know if you can see it, but it's really cool to like. It's just cool to have.
Yeah, that's nice. That's
it's
fancy.
just a neat look. It's a neat little gift.
All right. Well, I mean, we're suited up. We got our Mando Talk caps on this
in
week.
Uniform.
We're ready to go. I see we got some people in the chat, RFB, saying that we're looking sharp. I mean, he just right on cue. He said that in the chat as I said it on the mic. So really appreciate it. We got Savannah. We got DJ's relative sister in the chat.
I think it's my youngest brother. Actually,
that's fine. Regardless, we got fam. We got fam in the chat. So let's go ahead and get into our news. Unless DJ, there's something else that you wanna hit before we get going. I mean, we're just relaxing.
I don't think so.
It's a chill, cool,
I've got
nice,
on my
brisk
hoodie.
Tuesday.
Yeah, I've got on my rebellion. I can't talk. My rebellion hoodie. My wife got this for me when we were dating. It feels like eons ago. So this is a special hoodie. It's a special hoodie. It's a special day. Not really, but it feels special.
Hey,
So
any day is special when you can talk Star Wars with friends and family.
Amen.
So let's go ahead and do this thing. We are discussing our Star Wars news of the week, and we are going to kind of tiptoe. We're going to dip our toes into our Boba festivities a little bit because we got Book of Boba Fett news that we have to discuss on a weekly news report. And the biggest thing, one of the biggest things coming out right now is this Empire magazine article about the Book of Boba Fett, the future of Star Wars, and things of that nature. Well, one of the things that came from this Empire magazine release was that Steph Green and Kevin Tancharoen, something like that, those two individuals will direct episodes of the upcoming Disney Plus series, The Book of Boba Fett. And again, the source on this is Empire Magazine. Now, inside this article, it lists Bryce Dallas Howard, Dave Filoni, Robert Rodriguez, Steph Green, and Kevin Tancharoen, something like that. I've probably said that completely different twice. But in our notes here, something that I wanted to point out was someone that's very notably missing, and that is none other than Jon Favreau. And I know Tamara Morrison earlier in the year had mentioned that Jon Favreau was directing an episode. This makes me believe he's absolutely not directing an episode, though. Maybe Tamara Morrison he saw Jon Favreau a lot on the set, so he feels like Favreau probably directed some scenes here and there. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know about that.
What do you think then? What do you think?
Well, you don't just assume someone's directing. You know who's directing,
Sure. But I mean, he could have directed a scene or two, and that's why he said directing.
I mean, yeah, but at that point you're just a consultant, you know, and really a consultant is a very, minute way of saying executive producer. Okay, fair. And I'm pretty sure Jon Favreau is producing this show in some form or another.
Oh yes, he is. No doubt.
So there's a really good chance that as a director in the executive producer chair, he's probably, or maybe not the executive producer, but producer chair. Yeah. He puts the producer hat on, he sits down, he's there, he makes a suggestion. That's part of what being a producer is. Mm-hmm. So it makes sense that Jon, to me, isn't directing. Is it a little bit of a bummer? Yeah, because I love his episodes that he did of Mandalorian, and I'll be honest, I love Zathura. I think Zathura is a great movie when he did it many years ago.
Never seen it, never heard of it.
It's Jumanji in space.
Oh,
that's all it is.
I mean, that sounds interesting. I'm intrigued.
It's decent. It's a family movie, but it's a decent family movie.
I mean, really, come on, good. We got to add to the list. I mean, it's the holiday season. Elf,
yes, absolutely.
Did you know that Favreau?
I did.
I didn't until last Christmas. I saw Favreau pop up on the screen, and I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I've known for a long time, and I've always secretly wanted Will Ferrell and Robert Downey Jr. to do a movie together, and Jon Favreau direct, just because why not? Like that you can't. I don't think you could go wrong with that combo. I just don't think that's your burger, your fries, and your shake. That's exactly what it is, and that's what you need. It's just perfect. So, I think that would be something cool, but it's probably not going to happen. But all that aside, Jon Favreau not directing. Yeah, it makes sense. And that kind of tells me that Rodriguez and Filoni might sit in the director's chair twice.
Correct.
And because we did find out also that this is 7 episodes.
Yeah, and that kind of transitioned us to this next thing here, where Star Wars officially released 2 character posters, both of Boba Fett and Fennec Shand. They look nice and sharp. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see those displayed. But if you're on podcast, you can just go to Mando Talk, at Mando Talk on Twitter, and I retweeted them, shared them, all those things. Really cool posters. It kind of looks like there's a sandstorm going on amongst those two, which there was some fun that occurred on the interwebs with that one, to say the least. But it really cool. But inside the tweet where they released these 2 posters, it said the series would feature 7 episodes. And I know for a long time we were speculating here at Mando Talk, because it's a Mandoverse series, why not just make it 8 chapters like everything else has been? Really interesting that we are only getting 7, in my opinion. I think that's an interesting decision. But I think that could lend itself maybe to a kind of a chunky, long finale, potentially. That's just my hopes. I would love for that to be the case. That's kind of where my headspace is at when I see 7 episodes. Do you have any other takeaways that you had personally when you got this news?
As far as 7 episodes go, I like it. 7's a perfect number, both literally and figuratively. I think 7 is a good number for something like this, because something to tease Thursday, we're going to talk about whether or not Boba Fett, having him around, is it a less is more situation?
Yes.
And I think this kind of falls into that. It doesn't. The thing about Boba Fett is I don't want every mystery of his existence solved. I want some things left blank, and I may be in the minority on that, and that's fine. But I think that having some things left blank might not be a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
So 7 episodes to me, that means they could be longer. They could rock that 45-minute region, and that's great with me. I mean, I watch shows that are 45 mintes all the time. So to me, it just makes sense. Let's get some more Star Wars content out there. That just kind of, I guess, bring it home more, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, I mean, I 1000% agree with you, and I won't give my answers as far as is less more with Boba Fett yet. You know, there's a little tease though for Boba festivities coming on Thursday. I can't wait to have that conversation. Jordan Gents in the chat, he said, "Ayo, Jordan, you know, he messaged me earlier. He said he was finally watching The Mandalorian and saying that he was absolutely loving it. So
good.
I'm really happy that you're enjoying The Mandalorian, Jordan.
Did Mando Talk influence Jordan Gents' dive into The Mandalorian?
I mean, I hope. Jordan, let us know. Let us know.
Yeah, Jordan, please
Are
tell
we
us.
Influencers now?
I think we might be. And then a little quick shout out to Brody over here asking us what we think the best Star Wars film is.
Empire Strikes Back.
Rogue One. I mean, it's hard to argue with Empire Strikes Back, but
I got the poster right here for a reason.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. And I switch out my posters, as our regulars know, but sure. I love Rogue One.
Yeah.
That's to me, it's the best. Well, Phantom Menace is the best. And then,
okay.
Yeah, that is not biased whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, all right, listeners, you let us know what you think of the 7-episode number for the Book of Boba Fett. I certainly think it's interesting, but I think that, honestly, I kind of took more positives away from that than negatives than what I thought I would, because obviously seeing that 7 number, you're like, oh, it's less. That kind of stinks. But for some reason, I'm kind of optimistic about it. We'll see, but you let us know what you think. Jordan confirms that we are, in fact, big-time influencers, so I greatly appreciate that. All right.
We made it.
Next thing, we're not done with Boba Fett, guys. We got 2 new TV spots that have been released on YouTube and on socials. Both respectively are titled Rain, and the second one is titled Message. And again, we're not going to dive too deep into that here, but to just let you know, since this is our news report, those 2 things are out there. So here's what we need you to do. We need you to go to YouTube, to the Star Wars YouTube channel, not right now, if you're watching live, not right now, or if you're watching on the playback, not right now. Watch those 2 TV spots, and then be ready to hear our thoughts on those 2 TV spots on Thursday's Boba festivities. How about that? DJ, anything you want to add to that?
No, except maybe, if you really want to help us continue to influence others, go tag Mando Talk in the comments of those TV spots. You never know what'll happen.
There you go.
Word of mouth, man. It's a thing.
Yeah. Well, all right. Speaking of Boba festivities, just one more quick plug. We're going to hit that less is more, or is it less more with Boba Fett? We're going to hit that question. We're going to revisit chapter 14 of The Mandalorian, titled The Tragedy, where Boba Fett really makes his grand re-entrance into the Star Wars franchise. And we're going to dive into those TV spots. So we can't wait to do that on Boba festivities on Thursday. I mean, we can go ahead and tell our listeners, DJ won't necessarily be with me live, but he will be able to deliver some content for you. But I will be going live like normal. DJ will be with me in spirit. He'll be sending me some pre-recorded stuff so he can still join in on the conversation. Okay, that is all of the Book of Boba Fett news material. I'm going to pass it to DJ to hit us with some future project updates that we got. Some are positive, some maybe could be viewed as negative, but let's have fun with it nonetheless. DJ, what do we have?
Well, right off the top, we have a nice little announcement from Deadline. You guys have heard of them, right? Pretty big news source over there on the interwebs and everywhere else. But Ivanna Sakhno,
something
I don't
like
know.
That.
Ivanna Sakhno has been cast in Ahsoka in an unknown role that is brand new. So, whatever the heck that means, right off the top. Now, I saw from, I think, the Deadline article, some of her work that she's done up to this point. One of them was a little chick flick that came out a couple years ago. Excuse me, not a chick flick, rom-com. My bad.
Oh, there you go.
But it came out just a few years ago, and I actually went and saw it. My wife was super interested in it. It's called The Spy Who Dumped Me. Stars Mila Kunis as kind of the main character, but Ivanna Sakhno was kind of like a Russian spy in that movie, who also was really good at the balance beam. No, she was an assassin. That's what it was. And it was very interesting watching her character, because she could do all these crazy acrobatic things. And to me, it didn't look like a ton of stunt work. So to me, it looks like this is an individual who could potentially do her own stunts, which is always intriguing. So as far as that goes, you know, I don't really have a whole lot of speculation on who she could be, other than it's possible they may pull from the Ahsoka Tano novel that was written by E.K. Johnston.
Yeah.
Because have you read it, Caleb?
I have not.
It was the first canon Star Wars novel I read. And
Nice.
it was a very fast read. I think I got done with it in a couple weeks. Very quick read. But there were a lot of characters in there that they could potentially pull from that novel and maybe bring them into live action. We've already seen it with Cobb Vanth, so who knows? I think it's very possible that could be that. Do you have any thoughts on this or speculation, anything like that?
No, I mean, I don't have any canon connections potentially. I have zero clue. It sounds like you might have a decent idea, though, of a possibility at least. It's exciting. I don't know if I've seen her before. I'm sure I have without realizing it, but
Maybe,
I don't remember seeing her pop up at any point. But it seems like everything was positive regarding her being in it. So I'm gonna just roll with the tide here and trust the fan base and being excited about this casting. But I mean, it's crazy that we know more about Ahsoka's cast than we know about Book of Boba Fett's cast, which is coming later this month.
I like that, though. I feel like with Book of Boba Fett, it's good to have the mystery. Again, that's with Boba, that's kind of my general opinion. But at the same time, with Ahsoka, you know, there's only so many routes they can go.
Right.
Especially with the gigantic tease in Mandalorian of Thrawn. And knowing what we know from the end of Rebels, it's just not, you know, there's a lot that can be played with there. And now that I'm thinking off of it, if this didn't say brand new, you know, if it wasn't a brand new character, which I'm going to assume that's what that means,
right?
I would say that it could be Barriss Offee, who
that would be really cool.
If you're not familiar with that storyline from Clone Wars season 5, you need to go watch that.
Yeah.
After you're done watching this.
Yeah.
Because that is it's the best Clone Wars arc. It is. With her versus in Ahsoka's story, that's the best Clone Wars arc.
What
do you mean what?
The best one of all?
Yes.
Mortis?
It's better than Mortis.
Siege?
You don't get Siege of Mandalore. You don't get, no, hold on. I had to make sure I have my thoughts. You don't get Siege of Mandalore without Barriss Offee.
I mean, sure, but you don't get Empire Strikes Back without the prequels. I mean, we could talk about that.
Whatever. I think if Ahsoka hadn't run away from the Order and everything had happened, left the Order, it's all because of Barriss. Everything was fine until Barriss screwed it up.
Sure.
So I'm just saying,
yeah, I mean,
but anyway,
it was fine until Palpatine, started.
Oh, you're killing me with your logic. You're killing me with the logic. Okay, well then the galaxy was fine until Plagueis. It goes on and on.
It all goes back to Plagueis.
It does always. You know what? Ivanna Sakhno is Darth Plagueis.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my
goodness. You heard it here first.
No, honestly though, it could be, if it wasn't a brand new role, I would say Barriss would be a cool option.
Sure.
She's real short. This actress, she's like 5'3". She's not very tall. I mean, she may not even be 5'3". She may not even be 5 foot. She's really short.
Yeah.
And she's thin. I mean, she's super. As I mentioned, she was like a balance beam assassin in that one movie.
You were mentioning Barriss Offee being in Ahsoka. Was it not like a legitimate news outlet that said that she was going to be in Ahsoka?
Not recently? That I can remember.
I'm pretty sure there was online speculation of that.
Wow, I must have missed that.
Oh, I think it came from like some. I typed it into Google here real quickly. It says rumor Ahsoka series to feature another key Clone Wars character, and it's from CBR. I mean, I don't know if that's legit.
Oh, comic book report, comic book what?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, comic book something or another.
The direct.
Yeah, I think
Inside the Magic, like Illuminati, all those people.
Oh, okay.
But never like Deadline or Hollywood Reporter or anything like that.
Well, hey, we definitely talk our fair share of rumors and speculation over here. So who knows?
Sure.
At the end of the day, I would love to see Barriss Offee come into Ahsoka.
I mean,
I think it'd be fun.
It possible for the writer for Deadline here to not know who that character is and think that they're new?
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely they could. That's not I don't think that's the first time that's happened.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that we've said, oh yeah, new character, and it turns out to be like Yoda. It's just like, just as an example.
Oh man.
But anyway, I think it could be just about anybody.
Yeah. Fair enough. All right, well, listen, those of you out there listening, first of all, I'm already seeing some wow DJs about, him picking that as his favorite Clone Wars arc. But that's fine, to each their own. Let us know, though, what you think of this
It's not my
news.
favorite. It's not my favorite.
It's the best.
It's the best. There's a difference there.
Oh, okay.
It's not my favorite, but it is the best.
Interesting.
Right. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay,
it's up there, man.
That's another podcast for another day. I mean, I could talk about
I love
this.
it.
I could talk about this for a while. But anyway,
those
of you, let us know.
Talk.
Let us know what you think of this news, of this casting. She certainly looks like she's going to fit the series, so I can't wait to see it. DJ, what's next as far as future projects updates?
This is a big one.
Big.
Like, it's
big.
Huge. It's
huge.
It's bigger than both Death Stars, Star Killer Base combined. That's how big this. No, it's not that big, but it's big news because I'll just read it from Empire Magazine. Rangers of the New Republic will be absorbed into other Star Wars series, including The Mandalorian. This is massive. I mean,
yeah.
It's absolutely massive. Let me read this Empire quote, and then we can discuss it. And we got another quote we'll read right after that from none other than Kathleen Kennedy.
Kennedy.
Oh my gosh, she's at it again. She keeps saying stuff. All right, this is what the Empire quote is: "The Mando spinoff, Rangers of the New Republic, due to center on the Mandalorian's Cara Dune, played by Gina Carano, who Lucasfilm later slated is not currently employed by them following controversial social media posts earlier. I think it was this year, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Something like that.
Yeah. And seems to be, now they're saying it seems to be on hold and likely absorbed into other series. Now, right off the bat, Caleb, I don't know if we previously had full-blown confirmation of this or not.
Sure.
But it flat out says Cara Dune was to be the central focus of Rangers of the New Republic. Yeah. I think this, to my knowledge, is the first time we've ever had that in concrete.
Yeah, it's the first time that it's been like appearingly fact that it was in fact going to be focused on that character. I mean, right. I've been kind of going back and forward with my opinion on this, like literally ever since I heard the news. Don't get me wrong, I am so bummed. I thought Rangers of the New Republic had so much potential, not only for that character, but to incorporate so many others. I mean, Iden Versio from Battlefront, I thought that was going to incorporate her. Oh, that pilot from season 2 from Kim's Convenience.
Yes, I don't remember his Carson Teva.
Yeah,
was his name.
I thought it could incorporate him. I mean,
well, if they needed to, really just run with the show, he would have been the guy. I mean, he would have been the guy. He would have been the Ranger of the New Republic.
Yeah.
And that would have been great to have Trapper Wolf, Dave Filoni, and
the
other. Did the other X-Wing pilots have character names other than Deborah Chow and Rick Famuyiwa?
I don't know.
I don't know if they had character names.
They might be out there somewhere. We just don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's probably in the credits of that episode, but I mean, it'd be cool. It'd be cool to have that stuff.
Yeah. It would have been so cool with Rangers of the New Republic to get all of those kind of connections. And I really feel like of all the new Disney content, maybe outside of Acolyte, could have gotten like the most look at what's the political landscape of the Star Wars universe right now. I really feel like Rangers of the New Republic could have done that. And I know people out there don't like that about the prequels. I love the political aspects about the prequels. It gave it something new. Yeah. It's pretty cool. I love it. I mean, yes, admittedly, could have been executed a little better. I think they know that.
Sure.
You know? And Rangers of the New Republic could have done that for us. That's just my opinion. So I'm bummed that we're not getting a show focused on that story. But like I keep coming back to this, I really think that this is probably the better decision. It's probably the best decision just to let it go. And to bring the important key storylines into these other shows that are fitting inside this universe. Because as soon as you come out with Rangers of the New Republic, if they were to have done it, immediately, it's one of those moments where it's kind of like a Rian Johnson moment. Immediately, half the fan base is going to hate it. The other half of the fan base is going to absolutely love it. Because you would either have to recast Cara Dune or you'd have to completely get rid of her. And you're going to upset one side or the other. So in my opinion, it's just one of those things that let's let it go. Let's just take the key stories that you really wanted to tell and exactly like this quote says, absorb them into a different Mandoverse series. What do you think, DJ?
Well, I mean, I'm cool with them, taking it and absorbing it into other series. The ideas are still on the table. And what I always thought was interesting, and I know that we're not really, talking about this now as much, but Rogue Squadron was also announced. And I thought Rogue Squadron, Rangers of the New Republic. So we're going to have two different things happening, focusing around X-Wing pilots. I thought that's busy. I thought that was busy, like I love Boba Fett. It's kind of almost, it sounds hypocritical, but you've got Book of Boba Fett and you've got Mandalorian. They aren't the same, but they're the same thing. I mean, honest, they're one is birthed from the other. Yeah. So it felt kind of odd when Rangers was announced and Rogue Squadron. And now that both of those are kind of off the table, so to speak, it lends to another conversation, whether or not they decide to pick these things back up, put them in a film, put them in a TV show. Yeah. It doesn't really matter to me what they do with them. What matters to me is that they bring these things back in somewhere.
Agreed.
And I don't need like Din Djarin flying an X-Wing. It'd be cool. I don't need it. But maybe one day that'll happen. I mean, heck, in Battlefront 2, Iden Versio, who you mentioned a moment ago, she flies an X-Wing for the latter half of that storyline.
Yep.
So I've got no problem with just random people flying X-Wings, and I could have anybody flying X-Wing. And I'm harping on the X-Wing thing just because those were two things that were going to, be tossed around. Plus we just got Squadrons, and Squadrons was a hit. So it's weird that we had all this, let's fly X-Wings, content everywhere. And I think it has a little bit to do with, some people, weirdly enough, some people are not super into the original trilogy right now. Some people are not into the sequel trilogy a whole lot right now. A lot of people, what I'm seeing, and I don't know if this is just the prequelist in me or not, but I'm seeing a lot of conversations about the prequels right now. And that's just me. And I think it has a lot to do with Kenobi, has a lot to do with Ahsoka, even though Ahsoka's in the sequel era almost, or at least the original trilogy era.
Yeah.
And Acolyte's supposed to just run right up to Phantom Menace potentially. So we've got a lot of prequel, stuff kind of happening. And I think that that's kind of an interesting thing to remember. So the fact that we would game off on something like Rangers makes sense to me. Especially given the Gina Carano controversy. Yeah. I'm one of these people, you're not going to hear me talk about real life politics because I just don't want to. And at the same time, I would rather talk about Star Wars. Yeah. I mean, I like talking about politics within Star Wars. If you want to have a conversation about whether or not the banking clan is corrupted, I'll have that conversation all day because that's fun to talk about to me. But in this sense, to me, it doesn't really matter all that much. Yeah. So, okay, well, let's look at this Kathy Kennedy quote real quick, and then we'll move forward with some more Kathy Kennedy stuff. Kathy Kennedy, here we go. What is this Midwestern?
I don't know.
I like it. Kathy Kennedy wears her khakis on the red carpet. Okay. Kathy Kennedy quote, we never written any scripts or anything on that referring to Rangers of the New Republic. Some of that will figure into future episodes, I'm sure, of the next iteration of The Mandalorian. Now, that's full blown, what's it called? Confirmation.
Yeah, slap in the face. It's this.
Yeah.
The series is dead. It's dead.
Well, and here's the thing. I thought about this as soon as this was announced. I'll say this and I'll pass it to you, Caleb, because I really want to put this out there.
Mm-hmm.
When I first heard this news, the first thing that went through my mind was 2 weeks ago, Disney Plus Day happened. I'm livid because I got my hopes up too much.
Yeah.
And then I got onto a soapbox about, I feel like Lucasfilm isn't giving us information.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say that about this.
Mm.
This is the most information I know of that has been given from the head of Lucasfilm in a minute. And it's nice hearing this come from Kathleen Kennedy. And that may have something to do with that shareholders call. I mean, they may wait for the shareholders call to happen and then go forward with the news. That may be their mode of operations, which is fine if that's what they do. It's just one of those, I'm still kind of like, let us know what you're wanting to do.
Yeah.
That way we know what to expect as a fan base. Because it's different. Like, I'll use the NFL, the National Football League, as an example. When the combine is, when the draft is, when the Super Bowl is, when playoffs start, you've got 16 games, whatever it is, all of those things, it's verbatim. It doesn't change, and if it does, it's because of a pandemic. That's pretty much the only reason. So all that to say, it'd be nice if we had something like that from Disney or Lucasfilm or Marvel or whoever to say, hey, this is when these things are coming. So all that to say, it's nice to hear something from someone that to me is a big
hear
deal.
From the one.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the one confirms that, look, Rangers of the New Republic, we are going to take that and incorporate it into future episodes of The Mandalorian, of Boba Fett, of Ahsoka, whatever they want to do. I mean, they could do it as long as it's kind of in that time frame. I think you can easily incorporate the basics of what Rangers of the New Republic was really wanting, with the story it was really wanting to tell. I think you could incorporate that into these other iterations of those different shows. I mean, and I don't really feel like there's anything else that I can offer as far as that conversation goes. I will say, I mean, one thing, it's just kind of weighing on me. One thing, when I read this, I was kind of alarmed for a second when it said we'd never written any scripts or anything on that. Like, I was like, okay, then why did we announce it if we didn't have anything ready to go? But then I kind of thought about it, and it's not necessarily required or necessary for them to have scripts ready. Just as long as they had like a storyboard ready, it's okay to announce it. So I got off of that negative train real quick whenever I saw that quote, but I did want to just throw that out there because that was my initial reaction when I read that quote. Was like, okay, well, if he had never written anything, why are we announcing? But then I thought about it and I was like, okay, it's okay for them to announce it without a script. They knew where the story was going. They just didn't have exact script.
Well, I've heard other people talk about how that could have just been Disney pressuring Lucasfilm, because you remember, I believe Disney is the parent company of Lucasfilm. So
yes,
unless I didn't think they were working in tandem. I just wanted to make sure I got that right. But I've heard that Disney probably put a little pressure on Lucasfilm last year at the Investors Day and to say, hey, you got to get some stuff out here. You got to put something out here.
Yeah,
And basically that's Disney and Bob Chapek and all them saying, hey, you guys exist. People need to know that you have stuff coming. So again, I think this is Disney and Marvel are willing to be like, we've got every kind of show and movie you could possibly imagine coming.
Sure. And
then Lucasfilm's like, we'd rather just not talk about that. And it would be nice if somebody would just say, that's the way we operate. So I think they could, announcing it probably had something to do with, that.
All right. Well, that's fair. I mean, everybody out there, you let us know. Are you disappointed by this news of Rangers of the New Republic officially being, I guess, canceled, but in a sense getting absorbed into other stories? You let us know. Are you excited for this? Are you disappointed? Or are you just kind of in between? Are you just like, whatever it is, what it is? That's kind of fine too. I feel like I'm kind of in the middle there. I mean, I wasn't surprised. I knew this was coming. I think most people knew this was coming. So we'll see. I'm not majorly disappointed, though. All right, DJ, what is our next and final future projects update?
Well, I mean, it's plain and simple. Kathleen Kennedy teases additional unannounced Star Wars series in development. I believe series is not plural, but singular in this instance.
Yeah.
So that means there's one more still on its way. Who knows? I'm looking at this image that you have on YouTube right now. The ones that are up there that, I can see are Visions, Ahsoka, Lando, Rogue Squadron, Andor. We've got all these things. A lot of these things are filmed. They're in the can, as they say in the film business. And some of the things are forthcoming.
And some of the things are not going to happen.
And some of the things are just full blown canceled, but I don't know about full blown canceled, but all that to say, it's nice to know that there is something else coming. And I wish they'd have just said that on Disney Plus Day. But know what, though?
I don't want them to say something new's coming.
Well, I think that the pressure that was put on, look, we had a time after Disney Plus Day, you and I did, Caleb. And I think a lot of other people did too. And so all those other folks were like calling out Lucasfilm from their podcasts and Twitter and Facebook or wherever people are. I saw stuff on TikTok constantly. And I think that they took note of that and said, we got to get an interview with Kathy out there now. And I think that's why this has become the big topic, because it takes a second. You got to book the interview. You got to book that time. You got to write the article. You got to get it published, get it approved by your editor, all that good stuff. It's not a, quick draw, thing. It takes a second, especially with the CEO, president of a company. That's a big deal, to get that out there. So anyway, that's really what I want to say about Kathy Kennedy today. It may change come next week.
Yeah.
But again, she also said that there's a couple of other things in the hopper. I have no idea what that means.
She's just teasing the fact that there's more things coming. I mean, she's not going to say that there's not more things coming. So, I mean, as far as
what the heck's a hopper?
Oh, I don't know.
It's a space bunny.
Maybe. Speculation. When I saw this, I'm thinking, okay, it's Old Republic or High Republic. You just got to make that announcement, and that's what it's going to be. I mean,
you think it's Old Republic or High Republic?
It's one of those. It's one or the other.
What makes you think that?
I mean, just everything's kind of pointing in that direction. Everybody, literally all these rumors, all these reports. I mean, they've got they've got this entire wave of canon out there about the High Republic, and they're just pushing it and pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And you're not going to get people to fully invest until they show a series or a film regarding that content.
Wow.
And so I really think a High Republic show is coming soon.
Wow, that's
my prediction. I have no inside resources, by the way. None.
Yeah.
Unless you want, hey, if somebody out there, you want to give me the connections, I'll take them. But right now, I got zero connections.
Same.
Other than a Star Wars brain, that's about it.
Yeah. We failed to mention, I should say, Blue Harvest Bricks a moment ago. He said agreed that he would love to have seen Rangers of the New Republic. Would have loved to seen something fresh.
Yeah.
Now, where I think I disagree with Blue Harvest Bricks is that I don't think X-Wings in space is fresh. So I see what you're saying, but I don't agree with it, for the sake of just the sake of the debate, I guess. Well, I'm kind of with you on this High Republic stuff, and just a little shout out to me.
Okay.
Real quick.
Shout out
Kevin's, yeah, shout out to me. Hold on. I want to share this. I've been reading Kevin Scott's The Rising Storm High Republic novel number 2. And I'm about 8 chapters in, which means I've got about 70 chapters left. It's a long book, but I tweeted at him and didn't think anything of it, and he ended up retweeting me, which I thought was really cool.
There you go.
And if you want to go look at that, just scroll down my Twitter page. You can find that, like that. So it's kind of cool that I got to have some dialogue with a Star Wars creator. But that aside, having read Light of the Jedi and now reading The Rising Storm, I'm looking forward to where these stories go, because I think the more I read these, the more I'm going to be willing to say, yes, we're getting a High Republic show. And I really think that Project Luminous, which was the High Republic, was supposed to be bigger. You know, I was in the impression, or in the camp, I guess I should say, that Benioff and Weiss were going to do a show that connected to Project Luminous, or a movie that was going to connect to Project Luminous. And then when they left for whatever the heck they left for, I think it was a Netflix deal. Yeah. You know, it kind of shot those dreams for me and a lot of people. So, and I'm sure it shot your dreams a little bit there too, because you're such a hardcore Game of Thrones fan, man. I mean, I pick on you for being a Game of Thrones fan because I can, and I know nothing about it, but actually I do know some. DJ. I know some. I watched some of the first season and it was just slow. I was like, I don't want to watch this, turn it off. So anyway, I still think that could connect to a show or something, you know, who knows. But again, as Kathy Kennedy says, there's a couple of things in the hopper. No idea what that means unless she's referring to like a sky hopper, a T-16 skyhopper, which is what Luke Skywalker technically flew on Tatooine. Yeah. Which, how cool would it be if we got a T-16 skyhopper in Kenobi?
That'd be pretty cool.
I never even considered that option. That'd be dope. Or Book of Boba. I'd take it there too. So you guys just tell us what you think about these potential upcoming projects. What are your crazy tinfoil hat speculations? I mean, all of it. Just tell us what you think, because half of what makes this fun is, you know, getting to hear what you guys say. Yeah,
absolutely. Drop those thoughts in the comments, in the chat, or if you're on podcast, hit the Discord link. Come tell us over there. Okay,
all day.
We have one final news piece. It's more so just kind of fun. I'm kind of excited to see kind of where this conversation goes, and it has something to do with Dennis Lawson. This guy is the actor behind Wedge and Tilly's from the original trilogy, and he also came back in The Rise of Skywalker recently. So,
and
yeah,
the uncle of Ewan McGregor.
Good call. That is a great call. I always forget that sometimes. So the kind of news from this is that he may have had a larger role in The Rise of Skywalker originally. Now, just to be clear, this is pure speculation based on a quote that Dennis shared on the Making Tracks podcast. So I'm going to read this quote and we'll go from there. He said the following: J.J. Abrams got in touch with me directly, which is very unusual. They don't do that. They wanted me to do 5 days on the movie, but I was in a play and then directing a play, so I was just out of it. And he said, I don't think we can make this work. And I said, come on, we can do this. So instead of 5 days, I just managed 1, but it was lovely to get back on the set. It was nice to step back on, it really was. So here is where my speculation comes in, and I'll pass it straight to DJ after I read this speculation. A 5-day shoot would require a lot more from Wedge, from that character, than what we got in the final cut, which, if you're on YouTube, is this image of him just in a, I don't even remember what fighter.
He's in the Falcon.
He is in the Falcon. That's right. That's a good call. 5 days would require a lot more than just that. Let's just be perfectly clear and perfectly honest. So my speculation here is, what then would have been Wedge's original story in The Rise of Skywalker had they been able to do the 5-day shoot? I don't personally have like an answer to that, but it's extremely exciting because I know, and I'm fresh off of reading the Thrawn, the first Heir to the Empire, the Legends, non-canon anymore.
Right.
Wedge was heavily involved with the future of the Republic, and he was a integral part in what they continue to do as the rebellion and transitioning.
Right.
For me, just because I guess I'm fresh off that novel, I was like, okay, if he was going to be there for 5 days, he certainly would have had this really cool role, and I would have loved to have seen him in some form of like a political position or some form of power, kind of like that. That's just kind of where my headspace went when I saw he was originally planned to do 5 days. I know that probably, I doubt that would have fit into the Rise of Skywalker story, at least the story that we got. But DJ, what do you think when you see this quote? Do you think I'm being crazy? Just what do you think? What say you? What say you?
I don't think you're being crazy at all. I think you hear 5 days and you're like, that's a whole work week, you know, and it's on a major film and you can do a lot in 5 days, you know, very easily. With a character, even as small as Wedge. I mean, it's kind of funny. You know, I remember when I'm watching, the rumors were out there when Rise of Skywalker was releasing that Wedge would be in the movie. And I was kind of like, okay, let's see if he's in the movie. So when he showed up, I was like, it's Wedge Antilles. I got stoked just because I can't believe they brought Wedge back. And I was really excited that they brought him back. And, you know, to think that there could have been more to his story is great. And I wish that we could have gotten it. Now, one thing that we do need to remember is that just before Rise of Skywalker was released, there was a novel that he was in. And I'm searching his Wikipedia page right now to figure out the name of that novel.
Wookie.
Wookie Wookie. I don't know why I just said that.
Wookie.
Wookie Wookie. I found Wedge Antilles. I don't know, guys. I'm so sorry. I know it's horrible sometimes having to listen to me say dumb stuff, especially while I'm stalling.
Stall.
No, but
Stall.
But the truth is, you know, seeing him in this novel, you know, I read about half of it before I kind of moved on and I saw the movie. So it's kind of like, okay, I don't feel like I need to read this novel anymore. But he was coming up through that. You know, he was a major part of Poe's life. He actually helped train Poe how to fly. Snap Wexley, he knew Wedge knew Snap Wexley's mom and dad, you know, and all of these different things are important to Wedge's story that could have been in the Rise of Skywalker. So it's kind of a bummer that he didn't make it into a larger role instead of just doing swoosh left. Good moves, Lando. I mean, it kind of makes sense. I mean, it kind of makes sense because in both or in 4, 5, and 6, it was like, look at the size of that thing, talking about the Death Star. Right. And, you know, I'm going to cut across or, you know, something like it. It makes sense that he would have weird, random flight dialogue and that's it.
Sure.
The number one thing that I wish that they'd have done if they could have made it work was had him at some of the meetings with the whole rebellion, you know, where we've got like Beaumont played by Dominic Monaghan, AKA, Meriadoc Brandybuck from Lord of the Rings.
Sure.
It would have been nice to have him say something like, take all of those lines. You know, I would have been perfectly fine if Wedge stood there and said, secrets only the Sith knew. I'd have been like, Wedge, I love it. You know, I just would be like, it's Wedge. He knows stuff. He's had like in my head, I'm like, he's had conversations with Luke. He knows about these things. And that would have made me really excited if that could have made that work. So it's just like, come on, let's throw some Wedge in there. But it's okay that he's not there. But you know, at the end of the day, it's not like the worst deal breaker in the world for me. Yeah,
this is just more evidence for me that I wish I could see the original plans for what episode 9 could have been.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of that kind of floating around right now. A lot of people are like, why wasn't there more of this? Why wasn't there more of that? You know, and I'm kind of in agreement with that.
Don't get me wrong. I love the movie. I have so much fun watching it. I'm curious, though, what could have been. We'll see, though. Maybe one day we'll get that story. I highly doubt it, though. I really
think that's under lock and key. Yeah.
But, you know, we'll see. Well, listen, guys. That is our news of the week. I mean, we have gotten through all of that. We crushed it. A little bit of a shorter show than usual, but that's okay. Sometimes, you know, you need a shorter show, and we feel refreshed and rejuvenated after Thanksgiving holiday, so we can't wait to continue to cover Star Wars content for you guys. On Thursday, we will be doing our Boba festivities in order to cover the Book of Boba Fett. Oops, sorry. And we will discuss that and so much more coming up in the following weeks. I can't wait to do all of those things. DJ, any final things that you want to say? I'm rambling. I don't know what's going on. What am I saying?
Except that I didn't know that Except that I didn't know that if I chatted you privately, it would just show up.
Yeah, it shows up. It shows up.
You know what? The more you know, the more you know.
Hey, those of you that watch live, you get to you see all the behind the scenes stuff. So if you're not watching live, you want to watch live.
Where you been? Where you been if you're not watching live? You know, is what I'm saying. No, I don't really have a whole lot to say. Even though I did, let me just go ahead and say this. We don't have to do Fair Enough. Those of you who just saw that pop up, we don't have to do it. But no, I'm going to throw that.
We're going to hold off on Fair Enough, I think.
I'm just going to throw this out there then.
Oh, no. Oh, what you got? We're off the script. Here we go.
Never mind. No, I'll do it. I'll do it.
You got to say it now.
I'll do it now. I am perfectly okay if I never see Grogu again.
That is horrendous. That is a horrendous Fair Enough. That is so no. You can't say that, man. You can't
I just
say
did.
that.
I just did. I'm okay. I knew that was going to make somebody mad.
It makes me mad.
I knew.
It makes me mad.
Oh, man. That's it. Leave it at that. Those are my final thoughts.
That deserved the music. It deserved everything that we usually say. That's hotter than saying Pedro Pascal shouldn't be the Mandalorian.
I don't know about that. And my little brother just texted me and said, you would get rid of Grogu? I didn't say that. I said I'd be okay if I didn't see him again. There's a difference.
Well, that's not going to happen either. He's the future of Star Wars. Not. I mean, the kids love Grogu, so he's coming back. He's coming back.
Well, I'll leave it at that, and we can talk about that one another day. And you know what? If you want to talk about the banking clan, and you want to talk about why Barriss Offee's storyline in season 5 of the Clone Wars is one of, if not the best storylines in the Clone Wars, by all means, hit me up on Twitter at RebelScumTexan.
There you go. All right. Well, listen, we will see you on Thursday for Boba festivities. We will see you on Tuesday for our continued Star Wars news, and we can't wait to continue to do all of those things. We appreciate those of you that watched live. We can't wait to do it again. And until next time, as always, we have spoken.